Good day, everybody, and welcome to practice. We're going to do a chair practice right now. I want to say good morning, as it's morning right now, but I'm not sure when you'll be watching this. So we'll start as we usually do. I have two blocks underneath my feet. If you do not have the blocks, you can use cans. Another nice thing to use as a prop would just be you throw pillows off of your sofa. And I always have my strap handy. Sometimes we use it, sometimes not, but sometimes it's just nicer for you to have it ready in case you need it once we move through the practice. If you do not have these, even a yoga strap, you can use any type of strap. The belts from your robe typically work really well. They're just usually longer. So we always start the same, just in a very relaxed state. It's truly up to you where you feel comfortable and relax. The propping of the feet for most of us just helps us tilt back a little bit to be more comfortable within your seated posture. I'm going to have my hands just gently on my lap with my palms open, allowing energy to flow. If it's later in the day for you, maybe you choose to have your palms down. Maybe some type of hand mudra is more within your practice for today. Just making sure wherever you choose to begin, you're very comfortable and relaxed. And then we're slowly going to deepen our breath. Allow the eyes to close. And bring your breath internal. Meaning breathing in and out through the nostrils. Sorry about that. Frog. Take the first few moments of any practice just to notice your natural breathing pattern. We tend to breathe very shallowly into the lungs. Just that awareness of your regular breathing can help you bring your breath into a deeper state and can help you move the breath more fully through the body. As you start to settle, deepening your breath by lengthening the inhales and lengthening the exhales. Feel the breath move through the body. If you're having a problem bringing yourself into that breath, just allowing the mind to clear, maybe choosing to take your hands to the belly today. Once the hands are on the belly, you can actually feel the breath move through the body, and it might help you deepen that breath. Still have a lot of thoughts swirling around, which might be quite normal for right now with the state of things in our world and our lives. See if you can visualize a big breath bubble, one of those speaking bubbles. So the bubble is just above your head. You're going to place your thoughts into the bubble, and then on the exhale, watch the bubble fly away. we're slowly going to bring ourselves back just by moving in any way that comes natural to you. I like to encourage movement through the neck because we tend to hold quite a bit of tension in the shoulders without realizing we hold that tension. And wherever you are, if you did use the props, just gently removing them. I'm going to come more forward onto my chair, but it is always up to you where you move on your chair. Staying back in the chair gives you a little more support, as obviously you then can lean back. When we come forward in the chair, we can firmly ground down through our feet a little more. Just pushing down through the heels or thinking about doing it will help you find more engagement. It will also help you get stronger through your core, because the body has to work harder to stay at this 90 degrees. And then just come into the 90 degrees. Feel yourself become 90 degrees. Visualize a wall behind you. The wall is being slid behind you. You want to take stock of where your torso is. So we don't want to allow the body to round and hunch forward. We want to stay at that beautiful 90 degrees. So when the wall comes behind us, the back of your head touches the wall, both of your shoulder blades touch the wall, and the back of your body touches the wall in your sits bones. Think about the two main, or that big flat bone right at the lower back, as if you had jeans on, where the pockets would be. So all of that is touching the wall. The tendency is in the body itself is to allow yourself to round forward. But again, we want to think about 90 degrees. 90 degrees allows your shoulders to come down into a natural state. Also allows the chest to shine open. Almost the entire time we're here, think about your chest aiming towards where the wall meets the ceiling. It's a bit of expansion, but it stops the rounding that we allow within the torso, within the body. And then if you're feeling pretty engaged through the upper body, bring yourselves back to where I started. Think about really pushing down into your heels. You're not actually moving. It's more the thought of grounding into your heels. You will feel your legs naturally engage. You might feel your inner thighs get stronger. You might notice already that you stopped breathing. Come back to where we began. The focus is always on the breath because the body allows more movement, more space when we're breathing. When we stop breathing, which is what we commonly do, or where the breath becomes very shallow, the body becomes very tight. We need breath to move. Just taking stock of this 90 degrees, notice how even after a few breaths, the body wants to release. Even after a few breaths, the body no longer wants to even hold your shoulder blades together. The body is now dumping the weight from right to left. Really think about staying at your 90 degrees, firmly grounding into both heels, firmly grounding into your sits bones. Maybe close the eyes again, just feel the breath move through the body, and more importantly, notice what the body wants to do. Once we're aware of where the body wants to release, to round, to hunch, we can keep that awareness and we can counter it. And all of that helps us get stronger and helps us get, it's just with basic mobility going through life. So even though we're sitting, this is extremely active. And then just allow that to go round, do whatever feels good. Again, just rolling your head if that feels nice. Always encourage that movement, just because we always forget the movement. And then we're just going to roll through the wrists and the ankles here. So we're going to start with our wrists, just taking them away from the body, making nice big circles. Noticing what your body wants to do, though, your torso. Your torso wants to come forward. See if you can keep it up where we were. Drawing those shoulder blades together the entire time really helps with posture. And then taking a moment, take those circles in the opposite direction. Maybe you make bigger circles, maybe you make smaller circles. What feels good in your extremities right now at this moment in time? Wrists tend to be a very overused area and a very small area. So we want to bring the blood flow back, the movement, the rotation back. And then dropping the hands, rolling through the shoulders, right shoulder, left shoulder. No rush here. Think of it drawing up and then drawing back. Just moving slowly. Feel the movement. Get used to feeling the engagement in that shoulder blade. We need to learn how to engage all our stabilizer muscles. They're very small muscles. And then gently taking those circles the other way. A little awkward for most. Body generally only likes to move in those circles backwards. Drawing them forward feels funny. And then just slowly bringing yourself to 90 degrees, dropping your chin down through center. Most of us are going to feel this stretch through the back of the neck. If you are really tight, you're going to feel this all the way down your spine. Take stock of where you are and where the tension is you're feeling, so you can send your breath to that area. Maybe you can think about drawing your chin closer to your chest here. Spine stays long now, so we're not allowing the body to round. We'll get to that after. Think about staying nice and long, shoulder blades drawing down your back while adding the stretch. Slowly coming back up through center. Rolling again in any way, and then we're going to bring our awareness to our ankles here. So this one will be one at a time. You're going to just draw it through the right, maybe straighten the leg, keep it bent whenever feels good. Notice what happened. As soon as you lifted that right foot off of the mat, the body probably wanted to round forward to take the brunt of that work. See if you can bring yourself back to that 90 degrees. Both your sits bones are still on the mat. The shoulder blades are still drawing down your chest, or sorry, down your spine. Nice big circle. And then pausing and take that circle in the other direction. Quite normal for your right leg to be shaking a bit here. When we engage everything, the leg has to work harder. We'll slowly just releasing that, gently windshield washing. The windshield is always just a release to come back to a more neutral place. And then bringing yourself back through center and lifting up through the left. So again, notice what happens in your body. The smallest movements, the awareness is what helps us get stronger. Nice circles through those ankles or through that ankle. And then slowly taking that circle in the opposite direction. Quite normal if it's difficult. We do everything repetitively. Think outside of the box. And then slowly releasing that one. Again, windshield wash. We're going to stretch the shoulders a little bit more here. So we're going to come back to our neutral place, find your 90 degrees, always recognizing there is no rush. It might take you a little longer to feel yourself open and engage again. We have been hunching for a long time. Learning how to open takes a little bit of awareness and work. When you are ready, we're going to take our right hand up and over, just draping it over the head. Your right hand is going to go onto your ear. And then you're gently just going to draw your left ear down towards your left shoulder. There's not a lot of weight or pulling here, it's just more about weight. It might feel nicer in your neck to take your gaze down. Some people prefer to take their gaze up. Now remember, this is your body, your practice. If you're really not feeling much, maybe at this point, you want to add a little bit more pressure, a little more weight from the right hand. You're drawing down even more. But ideally, all we're looking for is a nice stretch down the left side of the neck, maybe right into the shoulder. coming back up through center, rolling in any way that brings you to that neutral. Maybe it's full body movement, windshield washering, just releasing. And then learning to come back quicker. Think about coming back to 90 degrees, find the openness, the engagement, and this time we take our left arm up and over, hand goes onto ear, and we come down. And wherever you had your gaze on the other side is most likely going to be beneficial on this side as well. Breathing in and out through the nostrils. Maybe even closing the eyes here. Maybe adding a little more weight. Actually pulling down. But again, I encourage you so much to listen to your body. And then slowly coming back to center. And again, just moving in a release. Anything that helps you feel neutral. And then we're going to work the legs a little bit more. So I'm going to stay at the very back or the very front of my chair, but you are always welcome to come back for more support. We're going to play with lifting our right foot off of the mat. Your hands can go onto the chair if that feels better. Sometimes it helps stay open. And just think about drawing up through the foot and then down, moving with breath. The inhales lift, exhales release. So instead of thinking of lifting the foot up, see if you can think about lifting your right thigh up. Lifting the thigh up takes a lot more work than lifting the foot up. Just learning how to think about the body differently. Notice if you've got a little tension happening in the shoulders now. The body likes to readjust the work here. The body wants to take over. Your shoulders really can't help. Your shoulders will just pick up tension. Keep them drawn down. Think about that chest aiming open towards where we started, top corner of the room. And then let that go. Gently just releasing. I like the windshield wash, but again, it is always up to you what makes you feel neutral. And then we'll work on the other side. So again, bringing yourself, your 90 degrees is the most important part. Think about opening the chest, not allowing the shoulders to take over. Space. When you're ready, inhaling lifts and down. And again, just notice what the brain is thinking about doing. Most commonly, we're going to think about lifting the foot. But if we think about lifting up through the thigh, a lot more muscle engagement has to happen. Just a few more here. And then gently letting that go. Nice windshield washes. And we're going to roll a little bit further through the shoulders. So we're going to move in our shoulder opener. The inhales lift us up. Exhales, we rotate towards the right. Inhales up. And exhales, we rotate left. Use the breath. Feel yourself get longer, maybe even taking the gaze up. And on the exhale, the arms reach out in opposite directions. There's not much movement happening in the lower body here. This is all shoulder work. See if you can keep your shoulder blades drawing down your back. They want to lift. We like to wear the shoulders almost as earrings. Causes a lot of extra tension in the body. Really think about reaching up and then in opposite directions. Reaching up and down. Coming back up through center and letting it go. allowing the rounding to happen now. So your chin's just going to drop down towards your chest. Your arms are just dangling. You can have them on your lap. Maybe full dangle feels better. Maybe gently rocking from right to left feels nice. Again, always noticing what the body naturally wants to do. So the body most likely is going to naturally start rounding forward a little more or even rounding back. Just allow it to do what it wants to do and see where gravity takes you here. A lot of times we are so tense, so tight, that even just dangling here causes a nice stretch down the back body. And then we're slowly going to come back through neutral, rolling ourselves up one vertebrae at a time. And we are going to come into a back bend here, chest opener. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see it a little bit better. You're going to ground evenly through both of your sits bones. The imaginary wall is behind you. So when we come back through a back bend, think about opening through the chest more rather than rounding through the back. The rounding through the back is really only happening at the top of the spine. So on the inhales, we lengthen, gaze goes up. Really think about shining your heart forward. And then on the exhale, see if you can draw yourself back just slightly. Chin is going to stay pretty close to the chest. We're not going to allow the chin and the neck to come back because that's not the opening we're looking for. We're looking for expansion through the front body, through the back body, but through high up in the spine. Inhales open. Inhales lift. And then slowly bringing yourself forward and allowing the rounding again. So counteracting that stretch, that openness, just with gravity. I have my knees pretty close here, but I know a lot of people prefer to have their knees nice and wide. It gives more space for the belly and the chest, even in the hips. But like everything else, I encourage you to figure out what feels best in your body. And we're going to roll ourselves back through center, and we're going to do a few rounds of cat and cow. So cat and cow traditionally is done on the knees. On the cow, the belly drops towards the floor and the gaze comes up. And on the cat, we round up into a cat. So the entire posture really is about the spine. So see if you can bring even more movement through the spine on this. Your hands can be down on the sides. The inhales come into that cow. So you're pushing the belly forward and you're taking your gaze up, shoulders down. Exhale, you're rounding forward. Think about a cat, that big arch. Inhales, we reach, we open. And exhales, we round. Think about your gaze dropping at your knees, coming all the way up your torso. Exhale, the gaze follows that pattern, goes up the wall and up the ceiling. One more round, nice and rounding on the inhale. Think about the shoulders coming forward, feeling that stretch. And on the exhale, the shoulders come back and the chest opens nice and wide. And then we inhale to a neutral spine again and just let that go. A few breaths. Just feel yourself come back to the 90 degrees. Make sure you're comfortable wherever you are. Close the eyes for a few. Make sure you're centered and breathing. And then we're going to make our way into a deeper hip opener here. We're going to come in to thread the needle. So we're going to take our right ankle over the left thigh. Ideally, you're drawing down through that right knee and you're coming into a parallel stance here. Most people are going to be up high or feel the need to draw their feet or their knees closer. I'm really going to encourage you to have your right ankle on your left thigh, regardless of where the knee goes. And think about keeping this active. So the entire time, you're pushing down through the right ankle, but your right toes are drawing to your knee joint. That will help protect your knee joint. You're welcome to sit back in the chair if that's more comfortable. If you have a lot of space, you're going to work your way forward. And really, it's just about finding a nice stretch through the outside edge of your right thigh. Breathing into this. Most people are very tight in the hip flexors and they feel this pretty quickly. If you do have a lot of space though, you're going to think about expanding through the chest and maybe drawing yourself down. As if one day your chest was going to come flat onto this extended leg. Use the breath. The inhales always open us, and the exhales we should feel a little more grounded and a little more space available to move into. If your belly is touching your thigh in any way here, it's a wonderful time to make sure you're breathing fully. The belly expands, you feel it touch the thigh, and on the exhale, you actually feel the belly come away from the thigh, and it might give you a little more space to move into. It's all about breath and finding the space. And then we'll slowly roll ourselves back up, let it go, feet down, nice windshield wash, whatever comes naturally. And then we'll one more side before we make our way up into a standing position. So when you're ready, coming back through neutral, and this time taking your left ankle over your right thigh. One side is usually much tighter than the other side, but we're looking for the same stacking. So your left ankle is on top of your right thigh, your left toes are pointing in towards the knee. Find length in the spine. Remember your 90-degree angles, sits bones are firmly grounded down. Staying here or maybe moving forward. Breathing. Feel yourself lengthen on the inhale. Maybe moving deeper on the exhale. Remember your body, your breath. All we're looking to do is making sure we're not rounding to bring ourselves all the way down. You'll get much better opening by keeping the spine long. And then slowly letting go of that, coming back, and just moving into your neutral. So we'll do a few flows from the seat, and then we're going to come up and do a standing flow. So it'll be the same flow, just so you get used to the momentum we're going to use. Most likely you're going to take your knees nice and wide here to give yourself a little bit of space. So you bring yourself into a more active mountain. I shouldn't say more active, but we're going to draw down through the hands instead. Mountain was just our seated. Both of our sits bones were down. Chest was open, shoulder blades were down. Once we add the arms to it though, think about the hands expanding, fingers nice and wide. Feel your arms engage, feel the muscles, the biceps, the triceps. Draw yourself down and it might give you a little more space through the chest. Inhales take us up, it's a nice big reach. On the exhales we come down, nice flat back into our swan dive. Inhaling all the way up and exhaling through. Inhales bring us up and down. Feel the breath nice and deep on the inhale. Just as strong and activated on the exhale. Visualize yourself in a vat of molasses, nothing thick. Exhales, we push, we expand, and we come down. Inhales bring us up, we're reaching and down. One more time, inhaling up and through. And this time at the bottom, we're just going to dangle. Allow yourself to drape. If the knees are wide, you probably have a lot of space to come forward. Think about the crown of your head getting heavier and heavier as if it was actually being pulled down towards the floor. And then we'll slowly roll ourselves back up. And then we're going to make our way to our feet. And we'll come through that flow from our feet. So first we're going to find our mountain. So you're going to choose where you wish to stand. I'm going to keep my chair on the side of me. But if you really are uncomfortable on your feet, I'm going to encourage you to keep the chair, actually not for this one, sorry, I take that back. I'm going to ask you just to come to your side, maybe close to the chair, hand on the chair. Just feel yourself ground. Take a look down at your feet. Make sure they're about hip distance apart. Your feet can be closer, but never really wide. We tend to want our feet really wide, which actually changes the stance of our hips. And that's not a natural stance. Your hips are only about 2 fist distance apart. Take your hands into that mountain. See if you can open the chest. And again, we were just here. The only difference now is we're standing on our feet instead of grounding down through our sits bones, but everything else is active. We're still opening up through the chest. We're still drawing down through the arms. And now we're pushing into our heels and feeling the legs engage. If you can close your eyes here, maybe play with softening the gaze. As soon as the eyes close or the gaze softens, the body starts to shift. Very normal shifting. It's actually nice to know where the body naturally wants to sit. Sometimes when our eyes are open, we're always geared towards where we're going. Just allow the body to go. Allow the body to rest. Allow the body to distribute the weight evenly. And then we'll just slowly bring the eyes open. Let go of that engagement, slight bend in the knees, and then we're going to flow. So the inhale is going to take us up again. Gaze follows. Exhale, this time we come all the way over. The back stays nice and flat. We're going to add a stretch by pushing into our shins, 90 degrees, and then let it go. Inhaling all the way up. Feel that stretch back in the molasses. Exhales are active. Back stays nice and flat as we drop down. Back to a nice flat back. Feel that stretch and release. A few more of those. When we use the breath, it helps to warm the body from the inside out. Exhales are through the nostrils still. Inhale, lengthen. And release. A couple more, nice and deep on the inhale. Flat back. And down. One more time, really feel this. Push down, lift up, open out. Molasses going against this thick liquid as we come down. Feel the 90 degrees and release. Inhaling all the way up this time. And your hands can come to heart center. Inhaling. And then we're going to work a bit on balance. So we're going to just use our chair here. You're going to keep your hand either on the chair, or at this point you're welcome to come behind your chair if you feel better having more of your chair available to you. And what I didn't say at the beginning is I do have my chair on a mat to make sure it doesn't move. So if you do not have that available to you and you're concerned about the chair moving, I'm going to encourage you to bring your chair close to a wall. Maybe use a blanket to protect the wall. We want to make sure the chair is sturdy and cannot go anywhere. So when you're ready to work your way into our tree, again, the hand can stay on the chair, you can use the back of the chair, and then just think about playing with lifting your right toes off the mat. So the right knee came out, the toes lift off the mat. There's a lot of engagement here between the left leg and the right leg. But as soon as the body shifted that weight, we're going to naturally dump everything on one side. But the more we can find the activation in the right leg, the stronger the core is going to become, which is where we want to learn to engage. So again, your hands can be here. You can play with drawing your foot up a little higher. If you're really unstable today, you can also draw your right toes onto the mat, just taking your heel into your standing leg. There's always a slight bend in your standing leg. We always want to make sure we're not locking out the joints. If you want to play with balance and you're using your chair, you can always play with lifting. The body will naturally shift. Always remembering, even if you're in a full tree with both of your hands away from the chair, the only way to get stronger, to make sure you're actually engaging your stabilizer muscles, is to allow yourself to move. Remember, trees, they sway in the wind, but their core strength brings them back. And that's what we want to become, because the more we can learn to sway, the more the body activates and helps us move. helps us engage, helps us stay upright. So the entire time, no matter where your hands are, where you are, think about that whole opening. So the chest stays open, even though the shoulders want to come up. See if you can draw them down the entire time. Because again, all that helps our bodies find those stabilizer muscles. Keeping your eyes on a spot on the floor generally helps us stay here. Picking something to stare at, like your screen or anything moving, is not going to help you with balance. And then wherever you are, gently draw your right knee forward and bring yourself back into your mountain. Just gently rocking from right to left. Now let that go. And then we'll work our way to the other side. So if you're at the back of your chair, you're more than welcome to stay exactly where you are. Otherwise, you're working your way around, or maybe you have to move your prop into another position on the wall. Again, what is best for you in your body. When you are ready, though, you're going to ground through the left foot. Sorry, wrong one. You're going to ground through the right foot, and you're going to play with drawing your left toes off the mat. And again, you can always keep the toes down and just the heel lifts. If you're coming up farther, wonderful. Think about the engagement, though. Think about your standing leg and the left leg. The stronger your left leg is, the stronger your posture is. And then notice what happened. As soon as we start to feel a little steady, a little confident, we tend to allow the shoulders to come up. See if you can keep them down the entire time. We want the expansion. The expansion helps the engagement. No matter what we do, we want to get stronger. Find your drishti, that non-moving spot. Make sure you're breathing. We tend to hold the breath or allow it to become very shallow when we come into difficult postures. Remember, trees, they ground down. The roots have to get very established. And then we reach for sunshine. That's how we grow. That's where the nourishment comes. And then the wind comes through. We wiggle, we wobble. And then slowly bringing your knee down, let it go. Take a moment in mountain. Maybe your mountain is moving, maybe it's static. Wherever you are, think about opening through the chest and drawing down through your shoulder blades, just not allowing the rounding. Always counteracting the rounding. We're going to make our way into crescent moon from here, get a little bit of shoulder stretch. So we're going to just take both of our hands up overhead. We're going to interlace our fingers, release the pointer finger and your thumb. Think about getting longer, and then on your exhale, taking yourself over to the right. So what you're looking for is a nice stretch down the left side of the body. It really doesn't matter how far you go. It's just about staying long. There's an imaginary wall behind you. Both your shoulder blades are touching the wall. So we're not allowing ourselves to come forward, we're more coming back into the imaginary wall and over. Find your breath. Slowly come back through to center and let that go. Just moving your arms, your shoulders in any way that feels good to you. Feel the release. And then we'll have one more side here. So we'll bring our arms back up, interlace those fingers, feel your arms get stronger, more engaged. And when you're ready, taking yourself in the opposite direction. So again, think about an imaginary wall behind you. Both your shoulder blades are touching that wall. Breath is moving fluidly, and we're getting a nice stretch through the one side of the body. Inhaling back to center, and let it go. Just again, one release. And then we're going to come into our core work. So we're going to use our chairs for our flows. but you are welcome to use the wall. I'm going to use my chair. You want to make sure your chair is firmly on a mat or against the wall. You want to make sure that chair cannot go anywhere. The idea behind anything as well, we want to flow so we can feel ourselves move and link the breath with, or the movement with the breath. So we're going to start in our downward dog. So your hands are on the chair. Your hands can be facing forward or grabbing onto the side of the chair, whatever feels better to you. And you can walk your feet out as far as feels good to you. And then you're just going to allow the crown of your head to drape. So you really are just a big upside down V. You're going to feel this in the backs of your legs and your shoulder blades. Just allowing the breath, noticing that the breath becomes stagnant, making sure we're breathing fully. And then we are going to move here with breath. So on your inhale, coming forward, find a plank. Plank is just bringing your body in one line. On your exhales, triceps engage, we come down a little, and then move with breath. Exhales bring us up, and we come back. Again, it's just about linking breath to movement and not allowing tension. Inhales come forward, shoulder blades draw down your back. Exhales, we come down, elbows stay close. Inhales, we come up, and exhales, we come back. So this takes a lot of core strength, and it helps find your triceps, which are a huge stabilizer muscle. We come forward, the triceps engage, which draws our shoulder blades down our back and keeps our posture nice and long. Feel the breath. Feel the nice strong inhale that brings you forward. The nice exhale, inhale, and back. So we're not rushing the breath, we are moving the body to the breath. Coming forward, coming down, coming up, and back. And then we'll just do one more of those. We bring ourselves forward, come down, back up, and back. And just hanging out in your dog here. Maybe you bend your knees a lot if that feels better. Maybe you can straighten the legs. Always remembering there's really not a right or a wrong as long as you're breathing through the tightness, the tension. And we are never looking for actual pain. There might be tension and tightness, but not sharpshooting pain. And then we are slowly going to bring ourselves forward, just walking your feet closer to the chair to bring yourselves back up, and take a moment to find your mountain. So grounding again, lifting, opening. Notice when we came to something a little more difficult, the breathing probably started to increase, the heart flow. We want to bring ourselves back. Make sure you are breathing. We're going to take our hands to our hips now. We're going to come into a full forward fold. The hands on the hips are going to help you keep your spine nice and long, maybe even taking your hands to your sacrum. Think about inhales to lengthen, to open, and on the exhale you come back. So all the spine stays nice and long as we come over. And we're just going to dangle for a few breaths. So maybe you bend your knees a lot, which gives you a lot more support in the lower back. Maybe you want to grab for opposite elbows. I just like to have my hands dangling on the mat, but it is always up to you. Learning how to breathe in this inverted posture, fully breathing through the belly, allows the body to naturally calm. If you have a lot of space and you're not feeling any tension in the lower back, you're going to play with straightening your legs by lifting up your sacrum here. Just making sure you're breathing, no matter where else you've gone, legs bent, legs straight, elbows rocking right to left. Are you breathing? And then we're slowly going to roll ourselves back up, one vertebrae at a time, And one more time, stay in your mountain. Feel yourself expand, feel your shoulder blades come down. Deep inhales to open. And on the exhales, we feel the shoulders coming down the back. Inhales, we open. And that release, that grounding. And then we're going to do one more balancing posture here before coming back onto our chairs. So you're going to bring your chair back where it was. And you're going to choose to either stay behind it again or bring yourself to the side using it as support that way. Wherever you are, you're going to ground through your left foot. And this time you're going to think about drawing your right thigh up. Remember where we started? We were on the chair and we were lifting the leg up and down, but we weren't lifting the foot up, we were lifting the leg up. Now that we're standing, it gets harder, it's a bigger lever. If you feel pretty confident here and you feel you have more to play with, you're welcome to extend the leg anywhere that's possible. It could be way down here, it could be way up high. The higher you come when you stay at 90 degrees, the more core work's involved. The leg becomes a longer lever and it's harder to hold. So wherever you're going, you can play with it. The worst that can ever happen in any of these postures is we fall out. You fall out, you learn, you get back on. It takes a lot of work to keep this leg up. And then when you're ready, just releasing, rocking, just moving in any way that feels natural. And then one more side here. So if you're at the back, you stay there. Otherwise, making your way to the other side, grounding through your right foot and lifting your left thigh up. If you want to play with that extension, again, up to you. Make sure if you are extending though, the body's not coming back. We want to stay at 90 degrees. We want to keep the core engaged. When we come back, we start using different parts of the body. Use the breath. And then gently coming back and letting it go. And again, just moving in any way that feels natural. We are going to use our strap for this next one, so we're going to bring our strap with us as we make our way onto our seats. So no rush, taking a moment, just allow the release, maybe even tilting down through the chin. Come back to your breath if you lost it. Come back to your center, your focus. And then we're going to stretch the shoulders a little bit more here. So we did a crescent moon from our feet. We're going to do one here from our seat. We're going to use the strap instead of interlacing our fingers. We're going to take the strap up overhead. Your hands can be close. They can be far, about shoulder distance, and they can be even farther. You're going to do what feels good to you. Think about that imaginary wall coming behind you. So both of your arms are coming back pretty far. They're about in line with your ears here. You can gently rock your head from right to left and feel the ears touch the triceps. Then think about imaginary pulling of the strap. You're going to feel this all the way down your arms and ideally into your shoulder blades. The inhales are going to lengthen, and on the exhale, we're going to come right. So as we're pulling the strap this time, you're probably going to feel this completely different. You want to feel it all the way down in your shoulder blades. Think about both of your sits bones staying on the chair, so we're not allowing ourselves to come way over because then the body's going to dump. They're still grounding down. There's an imaginary wall behind you. Maybe your gaze goes up if that feels better. It's a lot of work in the shoulders, but we tend to be very, very tight. Coming back through the center, gently releasing. Take a break here. Shoulders for almost everybody are extremely tight. It's very normal to feel tingling and numbness as well. There's a lot of nerve endings in your shoulder girdle. And sometimes we compress them. That's what causes the tingling. So you're working with what's within your practice. If you have to come out to move a little bit to readjust, by all means do that. And then just one more side here. So coming back up, you know where you're going with the strap this time. Pulling the strap apart, drawing the energy down those arms. You should be feeling this right down your spine. Inhale, lengthen even more. And on the exhale, we're going to the left this time. So your right sits bone is staying on the chair. Breathing, stretching. And the gaze goes up. And then slowly coming back to center and let it go. Just releasing the strap, moving in any way that feels good. We're just going to come through a twist here. So everyone is going to make their way to one side of their chair because we're going to use the back of the chair. Most likely bringing yourself pretty forward so you have a little more space to move. Inhale, always think about opening the chest, that expansion. Exhale, we're going to take both of our hands under the chair behind us and just find a twist. The twist is really only happening from the waist. So the inhale is lengthen, the spine gets longer, and on the exhale, maybe we can start taking our gaze behind us. Most people do not feel much of anything on a spinal twist. It's just more about rotating and utilizing the spine, part of the body that is meant to move, yet we don't utilize it. We only generally use the lower part of the spine. We want to use the entire spine. And then slowly coming back through the center, countering that, taking the hands to the front of the chair, finding expansion through the chest, and taking your gaze in the other direction. Always breathing. And then gently letting it go, coming to the other side. It's just the same thing, working through the spine. So when you're ready, the inhales lengthen, exhales we rotate back, and then feel your breath. Every inhale lifts you more, and every exhale you might have a little more space to move into. Slowly coming back to center, hands to the front, and again, find length, opening, and then a rotation. And then gently releasing that. We'll make our way forward. And just one more shoulder stretch before we release, just by allowing your spine to round now. So if we were at the side view, we no longer have our nice flat back. Now we're just going to allow gravity to take over. Knees can be wide, knees can be close. Feeling the breath move through the entire body. Again, just that awareness. The breath becomes very stagnant when we stop breathing. The body becomes tense. We're so looking for the opposite of that. Find length. And then we're slowly going to come back up through our full seat. And we're going to just go right back where we started our practice. So I'm going to use my blocks under my feet. These options are always options. If that's not, does not feel good to you, you're going to come back into wherever you began to make sure you are in a place that is comfortable within your body. Again, palms can be open for energy. If it's later, palms down. If you're feeling really anxious, palms down might be more beneficial regardless of the time of day. Wherever you are, slowly allowing your breath to resume its natural breathing. So we're still focusing on the breath to keep us in the spot and the space in our practice. But we're not working on deepening the inhales or exhales any longer. Maybe we even go back to breathing in and out through the mouth. What is your natural breathing? And then you are always welcome to stay there longer if you are coming out of your practice. I always encourage you to end your practice the same way. I just always encourage everybody who practices to take a moment to thank their body for allowing them to practice. At this point in our world, maybe it's taking a moment of gratitude, finding something that you are grateful for, and it might come right back to being grateful for your body. There are a lot of people who are physically incapable of practicing yoga in any form. Be grateful for what you have. I thank you for practicing with me today and hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.